My mom threatened to get rid of my dog, so I finally stood up to her.
I'm just taking the dog, dumbass.
I, 17 female, have a dog whom I keep in the house with my mom, 38 female, and my other family members, which include my dad and older brother. My dog has been sick for a while, and at first my mom refused to give me any money to take her to the vet. She told me I shouldn't have wasted my pocket money. But I don't even get pocket money, except sometimes on special occasions. By the way, this comes from Practical Name 6102, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Sophia.
We're only going to guess what we would do, but if you have experienced it or you would do something different, let us know down below. So, OP says, I ended up breaking the saving pot I had been using to save money for a laptop, which I filled with money I personally earned. I used it to take my dog to the vet. She got treatment, and it turned out that she was really sick. Now she has medication I have to feed her, and she's been quite tired lately. She's been quiet for about a week. Today, when my mom came home, she was being loud, which alarmed my dog and caused her to start barking. I was sleeping when my mom bombarded my phone with messages saying she'd get rid of my dog if I didn't shut her up. My mom has a tendency to leave my dog outside and then tell me that she gave her away until I'm sobbing. So when I woke up, I immediately took my dog with me while my mom yelled. I told her she was insane for even thinking about doing that and that I'd call the cops if she let my dog loose again, especially since it was raining. Now my mom has been giving me the silent treatment. My dad says that I overreacted and that she was just joking, which is making me second guess myself. Am I the a-hole for saying that I'd call the cops? And there are some comments. Lucky Charm 8020 says, not the a-hole. Hold that dog close. Try really hard to get yourself a job and move away from your abusers as soon as possible. I caution you strongly about calling the cops though, because they may deem your dog to be in an unsafe environment since your mother is the adult in this situation. With regards to the health and welfare of your dog, there are payment plans that you can get at most vet hospitals. So this is why it's massively important that you try to at least get yourself a weekend job to help with that. You're probably on the struggle right now because you're juggling school among other things, which is totally understandable. And I realize that today's current financial landscape doesn't make it easy for a young person to leave home at 18 and immediately find a place to live. My advice to you is either try to move in with another family member if any of them are trustworthy, or get 2 or 3 friends together and rent share. But whatever you do, you need to get away from these child abusers and animal abusers. Best of luck, and please keep us updated. Opie says, I've been looking into moving out after I graduate and moving in with a friend in a different country for university. Thankfully, my grades are pretty high. I have a good amount of volunteer hours, and I play sports for my school, so I have a good chance at a scholarship as well. But even if I don't get a scholarship, I do plan to move out and save up until I can get a higher education. I've been cautious with my dog as well, keeping her close by and having her sleep with me. The same commenter responds, these are all fantastic things, and I honestly wish you the best of luck with it all. Are you able to take Pupper with you when you go abroad? Opie says, yes, of course. I've looked into that as well, and I'm able to take her. My friend also has a dog, so they'll be play buddies too. And OP explains how they got the dog. I got my pup back in 2018 when she was only a few months old. Back then, I was around 11 or 12, I'm not sure. But back then, I had spoken to my parents, and they both agreed to let me get a pup on one condition, that I take her on walks and brush her fur. I agreed to the terms and got my puppy. No one around the house really helped. I didn't expect any help, as I personally agreed to having my own pup and taking care of her. And so I basically raised the puppy myself. My parents or siblings were never really involved in taking care of her, other than some days like when I was sick or on a school trip. And even then, my brother took care of her, not my mom.
That's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't think it is wrong to expect a child who wanted a pet to like have the responsibility of looking after the pet, but I do think that like if you're the parent, you should be somewhat involved in
yeah, right?
helping take care of this animal that you brought into your house.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if your kid is 11 or 12 when they're getting it's like you're gonna take care of that
you're
dog.
gonna forget sometimes. And also a dog is pretty different than like a a guinea pig or a smaller animal that may have less needs.
Right. So I don't see how she could be a burden to my mom other than the occasional barking. She's very well behaved. And we do have another update. Let's go.
I'm pretty impressed that this dog is well behaved when OP was like training it as an 11-year-old.
I know, right?
I think if I were an 11-year-old having to train, because I actually got my previous dog, Oscar. around when I was 11. And if I had to just train Oscar, I'd be like, I don't know. I just give him treats all the time.
Right? I know. I feel like it in the fact
That's
that OP
impressive.
seems to have like hobbies and extracurriculars and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like
While
I feel like
taking care of a dog
yeah,
is
like
a
the
lot.
only way I could do it is if my dog is my one and only hobby, you know.
Truly,
But-
I have to take I've had to take care of Ava a couple times on my own.
Yeah,
And when it's Sam and I, it's a lot easier
sure.
because like if one of us is home, one of us, swap and stuff. But I had to take care of her alone a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
and it was I was like, oh my god, this is actually there are so many times that I had to leave parties to go make sure that she was let out and stuff, and I was very helpful. Fortunately,
I know.
John and Christian were able to help out and stuff
That's good.
in letting her out. But I'm like, it's
a lifestyle
full-time
change.
job. Yeah,
for
I'm
real.
like, you can't spend a lot of time out of the house. You have to come back,
Exactly.
take her on
Exactly.
walks and stuff. It's a big responsibility.
But we do have an update. My sweet girl, she was on the way to her pet grooming appointment, and there's a picture, I believe. Opie says she's a Pomeranian fox face. We have update 2.
Okay.
So, am I the a-hole for telling my parents that I will not be helping them with their rent? So, this is 16 months later. I, 18 female, moved out of my parents' house a little while ago as soon as I could. To provide some context, my parents were both emotionally harmful and have wronged me many times in my life, including threatening to get rid of my dog, which I have a whole post on and we just read. Since I moved out, I've been working a job and paying rent for my apartment and that I share with my friend, and I have had enough money left to save up a bit to go to college in a few years. I'm the youngest in the family, so after I moved out, no one was left at home. Both my siblings had moved out as well. Their financial support from my brother paying them rent for his bedroom has been cut off. I am completely independent and have told my parents multiple times that I want nothing to do with them and even blocked their numbers completely. Wow. Earlier this week, my grandmother called me and explained that my parents desperately need money for rent and asked if I could spare money from my college savings, which I saved up on my own so far. I outright refused and told my grandmother that I would not be helping at all since every penny in my savings is gathered by me working hard and supporting myself. I love my grandmother and told her that if she needed help herself, I was willing to help, but I would not help with my parents. For this entire week, my aunt has been calling me repeatedly, saying that my parents really needed this and deserved it for raising me.
You help them.
That's not how that works. Legally, that's
Nope.
not how that works.
Yeah, legally, Opie does not owe them a penny. And if you want to help them aunt / grandmother,
Yeah,
you give them money.
exactly. My mom's side of the family threatened to cut me off if I didn't help, which is honestly so petty because I'm only 18 years old and they should be helping me instead. Or they should be helping instead. I told my friend about it and she said that I was taking it too far and I should have helped. What? Now I'm wondering if I'm the a-hole. And there are some comments, but I disagree.
I disagree, and I'm wondering if your friend is an 18-year-old who is having her education paid for by her parents.
Good question.
Because I think there is maybe a cognitive dissonance of being like, oh yeah, well, you should just help them out if they need it. Like, you can just make more money.
Yeah, it's like, well,
You've saved everything for your college.
Yeah, like, don't you know why I'm living here instead of
Yeah.
with them right now?
Also
like,
that, yeah.
it's like, what? I would be so surprised if they're friends and roommates and like don't know this about OP.
Don't know
like,
the backstory of like you cut them off.
Yeah, exactly. And like the parents aren't reaching out. I mean, I know that they were blocked, but like if they were really that desperate, I'm sure they could find
they'd
a
be
way.
like, I'm so sorry for the way that we treated you, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
but no,
exactly.
they're reaching out for money.
Yeah, so definitely not the a-hole. You cut them off for a reason. And the only reason that they're trying to reach out to you so hard is for money.
Yeah.
That's very telling. So we have some comments. Available Love 7940 says, quote, they deserve it for raising you. No, that's what's legally required. You have children, you raise them. They don't owe you for doing that. Your aunt and your mom's side are all welcome to contribute to rent if they are so concerned. You save up for some therapy as well. And good luck. Not the a-hole. Casual Lore says, not the a-hole. You are doing fantastic. Moved out, saving money for college on your own, cutting off your harmful family. Keep it up. Don't let anyone drag you back into that situation with their petty manipulations. You got this. Opie says, thank you so much. You have no idea how much that means to me. I truly appreciate the kind words from the bottom of my heart. And then King Bretwald says, make sure your parents aren't on your bank account. Have it in a credit union or bank that they've never used if possible. Also, check your credit. Make sure that they haven't taken out any loans or credit cards in your name. Lock it down. Opie says, I will definitely contact my bank in the morning. Everyone seems to be warning me about that. And I'm going to warn you that we've got full episodes of more stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. And there is a little bit more to the story, but yeah, I agree with these comments. I mean, I agree. I feel like this friend, because they're both very young. They're both 18. I'm assuming the friend is the same age. If you haven't experienced manipulation, you don't know how to look out for it.
Yeah, she's thinking, oh, well, these are your parents.
Exactly.
Oh, they need help.
She's hearing the same guilt tripping stuff and she is like falling for it.
Yeah.
Because hasn't been in that situation before.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I wouldn't put any hate towards the friend.
No, she's 18.
Exactly. Like she don't know. But
she don't know.
She don't know. But I feel like yeah, you can ignore your friend though. She's just wrong.
She's
and that's okay.
just wrong.
She's just wrong. Talk to us instead.
Yeah. Come on. Wait. Come here. Come here. Talk to us.
Yeah. But we do have a third update to finish this off. So, to start off, yes, I froze my card. Oh well, I froze it the morning after I made this post and spoke to my bank account about any bills being opened in my name. My friend helped me open a new bank account in a different bank as well. Many people also asked why I told people that I had savings, and to that I say, I'm stupid. What happened was I had told my grandmother about it because I was sort of excited about standing on my own feet, but that seemed to backfire. Since then, I have stood my ground and have not given them any money. I did block my aunt as well and am going to have minimal contact with my grandmother. I told them that I had a car emergency and had to use the money, so I have nothing left to give, but I think they don't believe me. But overall, I will not be lending them any money, especially not from my savings. And that is the end of that story.
My parents stopped paying my tuition because I refused to watch sports with them.
Watching the game is way more important than reading the books.
My female 21 parents told me that they weren't going to split tuition anymore following an argument we recently had. And the argument involves something dating back years. We're a big sports family. NBA, NFL, MLB, and my younger brothers play sports too. They both play baseball in high school, but dabbled in others. I played tennis at my community college before transferring after my associates, and have played since I was young. I'm grateful to my parents for paying for our sports despite our differences. By the way, this comes from Throwaway Turbulenticon. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Angie.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, I still live with them and I pay rent. I work 2 part-time jobs and I've been splitting tuition until recently, after an argument about something dating back years. This week and last week is the U.S. Open of tennis, and we've watched tennis together growing up. Over the years, I've done so less and less after realizing my mom's commentary about certain players went beyond typical sports rivalry. Her criticisms often focused on personal characteristics and behavior in ways that made me uncomfortable, particularly regarding female athletes. She had similar patterns with other sports figures, including comments about athletes who've spoken publicly about mental health challenges or social issues. The reason my parents decided to stop splitting tuition was because of an argument that happened last week. My parents asked me if I wanted to attend the U.S. Open, as they were purchasing ground passes. As I've done in recent years, I declined. That led to them asking why I don't do as much with the family anymore. And they've often harped on me for not acting like part of this family. I decided to speak my mind instead of coming up with an excuse, and told them that I was tired of watching sports together because it had become annoying. I explained that the constant negative commentary about athletes, particularly when it seemed to go beyond sports performance into personal attacks, had taken the joy out of watching together. So because I didn't want to act like part of the family, they said that this upcoming semester would be the last that they split tuition, so I'm on my own going forward. Which is so indicative of how far they've taken their love of sports.
Yeah, like
Like,
this really
it's obsession.
Yeah. Because I kind of thought this would go in a way of like, oh, well, if you don't want to spend quality time with me, then then I don't want to pay for your tuition, which is still, it's like that's conversation can still be had for that. But yeah, this is like we're not gonna think about other options of hanging out with each other. This isn't like,
and also OP's not even saying that they don't want to watch sports with them. They're saying, I don't like how you make negative commentary.
Yeah, so it's like if you just, maybe you're just a little bit more positive.
Yeah.
And supportive of these people, then I would want to do it.
Yeah. OP's like, that's your dream, Dad, not mine.
Not mine. Exactly.
I don't want to watch sports. I want to go to class.
Yeah.
Comment 1, take advantage of the time you have at college to talk to your counselors and financial aid. They want you to finish your degree, and they understand that sometimes parents go crazy. Only you can decide if a gap year is right for you, but once you get a job and start making rent and car payments, it can be really hard to find time to finish your degree. Since you're already mostly done, I think you'd maximize your chance of success by pushing through to graduation. OP says, that's my main fear about taking a break. Once you do, it may be hard to get back into the swing of things, but I do think that a break might be beneficial if I'm able to move out and be more efficient in my work without the stress at home. So it's a tough decision. Comment 2 says, don't take a break. Keep going and figure the finances out along the way, even if you have to take one class at a time. I worked while at college and paid the tuition myself. I did a payment plan with the university. OP says, I didn't think of reducing class load. That would probably cause less stress while trying to make the financials work. Thanks for the suggestion. Another reply says, stay in school. Speaking from personal experience, it detoured me for 8 years before I got my degree. Working full-time and trying to squeeze in classes was very difficult. And I had to take horrible jobs because I didn't have a degree. Tolerate your parents and use this as an exercise of learning how to ignore people whom you disagree with. It will be great practice for your career. And there is a second update, or just the first update, I think. 10 days later, do you have any thoughts before we jump in?
Yeah, I think with taking a gap year, it's really just whatever works for you.
Yeah.
For some people, it works because, if you don't think you're ready for it, once you are ready for it, you're really ready to get back into school. And so, getting into the swing of things isn't, as hard. But in other situations, it is difficult because if you do start working, it's hard to stop and then take a break for school or take time off for school or something like that. So it really depends on you, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
I agree.
But there are financial aid and stuff that you could try.
Yeah. You would have to talk to them, and hopefully your parents, don't take you on as a dependent. Because it's a bit hard to prove that you're not being given tuition money or helped by your parents if they are not, willing to be we're not helping you.
Also, community college.
Yeah.
Great option.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
want to be in debt.
Yeah, I think I have friends, or I had friends that paid for one semester of their college, first year in, and I'm 4 or 5 years into doing community college, haven't even spent that much yet in their one semester. So
update 10 days later, almost all of the advice I received was to stay in school, and I'd love nothing more. A break can turn into years quickly from what I've heard, and some suggested using the semester that's already paid for as a time to find bearings for the next semester. I took advantage of my school's free counseling offerings and booked a session with a counselor to discuss my options. We discussed financial aid, payment plans, and campus jobs in addition to finding a full-time job off campus. I have 2 part-time jobs, but hours are inconsistent and they don't pay great. Even if I take fewer classes per semester, I believe staying in school would be the best option. I have another session with my counselor coming up where she said we can talk more about it. I also told her about the situation that led to my parents changing their mind on tuition, and saying what I felt out loud helped me find some additional realization. According to my counselor, I internalized a lot of it because my parents weren't receptive. So talking to her was therapeutic in a way. With my family always being a big sports family, hosting Super Bowls parties, going to many games, siblings and I playing sports. Sports was the thing we bonded over for all my life. Heck, it was a foregone conclusion that we skip church on Super Bowl Sunday to prepare for guests and on Championship Sunday for the gentlemen's finals at Wimbledon in the morning. But somewhere along the way, it became less fun to watch sports with them due to the things I mentioned in my previous post. Mom, more so than Dad, but he has his moments and agrees with her stances, began infusing her political beliefs into sports and other areas, and it tainted the very thing our family bonded over. Sports is often an escape from work and stress, something that people on both sides of the political aisle can come together over and cheer for the same team at a stadium or party. Ignorant bliss plays a role in that, of course, but as humans, I believe it's important to come together to find community, and sports is one of the most common ways to do so, despite our differences. When those differences caused my parents to decide to walk back their agreement to split tuition, it hurt because it felt like I was being punished for my different opinion. I love sports because it brings people together in a world where it's so hard to do so genuinely. At one of my retail jobs, our managers have huddles with team members with cheesy slogans, monthly themes, and team building activities that coworkers laugh at once the huddle ends and criticize for being fake enthusiasm. But sports unifies people like nothing else. And I'm sad that watching sports became tainted over the years at home. The only time sports isn't tainted in my family is when we go to my siblings' games to cheer them on. And that's because no politics are involved. Every family has their own thing, and I've seen many at church when I used to go. From musical families at church who have members in the choir or orchestra, to missionary families who travel together, every family has things they bond over. And sports began to change in our family because it became less fun to watch with Mom and Dad. I'd love to move out sooner rather than later, but I'm weighing all of my options. Staying in school remains the priority, and I hope I'm able to find more work soon. I'm glad to have found a nice counselor who has options, such as payment plans. The payment plan is the one I'm hoping to utilize. And by the way, I hope that you listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there are some comments to finish up this story. Do you have any final comments of your own?
I mean, seems like things are a little better.
Yeah, it
Right?
seems like it's all working out. I mean, not
Yeah.
with your parents, clearly.
Sure.
But it seems like you're, figuring it, and you have people
Yeah.
who are looking out for you, which is
Yeah,
really great.
right. You've got
Um,
options.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, you know how I guess nice sports are
Mhm.
with the community and everything, or how they can be.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I'm sure it'll feel good once you find people that agree with you
Mhm.
on that and on like the positivity around it too. And I feel like that'll just like feel really good too, to just be like, I can enjoy sports again.
Yeah.
But yeah, best of luck to you. I hope that I hope that this payment stuff goes through and you're able to get that financial aid. And I
Mhm.
hope that someday your parents can just kind of calm down about that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's so I do think that sports can be it can cause a lot of like obsession and like single-mindedness. Because there's just like so much, I don't know, like cult like following that can, come about with sport teams and stuff. And I think like
Mhm.
it seems like these parents are
They're
being drawn into that.
quite devoted.
But yeah, hopefully they can find their way back and realize that it's just a game
Yeah.
and you could
Yeah.
enjoy it and also not kick out your child
Yeah.
over it.
Exactly.
But some comments. Rick Russell TX, take advantage of the time you have at college to talk to your counselors and financial aid. They want you to finish your degree and they understand that sometimes parents go crazy. This is the same one. Okay. Admissions lottery. First, so sorry your mother is an open bigot and your father supports her, but good on you for drawing the line. I teach at college and urge you to follow all of this thread's advice and go to talk to your school's financial counselors ASAP. You should also talk to your advisor and or department professors that you like. There can be bursaries or hardship funds available if you ask enough people. If you find it financially unfeasible to finish your degree at your current school, consider transferring to a lower cost school. You have the time to research this right now and should jump on the first step, the financial office. If you need to go part-time, that is better than dropping out and returning, because so many times life gets in the way of that return. Try to stay on course and not let this incredibly mean and damaging move by your parents disrupt your future. All the best to you. And that is the end of that story.
My parents excluded me from Christmas, and it changed everything.
Not Christmas.
Okay, I'm 90% sure that I am, but I've let it sit for a day, and I'm still hurt. Before we get into this, I'm very aware that many people in the world get nothing at all for Christmas. Oh, I should spend weeks leading up to Christmas volunteering, virtually this year, for a battered women's shelter and a foster care organization. By the way, this comes from user Artorian Scribe. If you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddits. I'm Keon.
I'm Sophia.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know in the comments. OP says, prior to this Christmas, we quarantined for weeks and we all got tested. We are one of those families that doesn't go into stores, hooray, curbside, or eat out, and we all are fortunate enough to work from home or be retired. Now, my mom does all the shopping for Christmas, full stop. She asked what I wanted, and because I'm pregnant, I just asked for stuff for the baby, especially since I won't have a baby shower. She said, fine, I'll get that stuff, but what about you and your husband? Well, we really didn't want for much, so I threw together 3 ideas for each of us, but I told her to please shop just for the baby. I also gave them a link to the registry with over 40 small items selected, so they weren't on their own. Meanwhile, I got them what they asked for. I got my dad a Fire Stick TV and contributed to his Oculus. I got my mom some jewelry from Pandora and a hand-blown glass or hand-blown glass cups that she wanted. My brother, 24 male, who still lives with them, a case for the iPad they got him, and $100. My parents still do Santa. That's cute. The whole bit. The cookies, the milk, the presents that magically show up, it's their choice. We don't ask for it, but we play along because it makes them happy. We come downstairs yesterday morning and everyone else has gifts from Santa. We do not. My dad just slips us a note saying Santa is done for us. So we sit there awkwardly while my mom, dad, and brother open all their gifts from Santa. They struggle to find gifts for me at all. They found plenty for my husband, gardening stuff he wanted, but the only real gift they gave me was a pair of Adidas shoes I didn't ask for, a perfume I don't wear, and a ramen I like. OP says that's fine. All I wanted all along were things for the baby, who they've known for weeks will be a boy. They gave us 3 onesies and an ugly nursing pillow. The icing on the cake was my older brother, 40 male, and his family have a whole stack of presents to be sent to them. Just for him, we're talking power tools, drill sets, brand name clothes, and shoes. Just for him. And this is not even mentioning their wife and kids. Here's what might make me an a-hole. Not wanting to spoil everyone's fun by sulking, I chose to return 2 days earlier than planned. My husband is trying to be understanding, but said I may be the a-hole for expecting anything at all, and for leaving so unexpectedly. In fact, the entire family made passive-aggressive comments the entire day. But I ignored them all. The only person I felt bad for was my dad, because he seemed truly hurt. It feels as if it was just me and my future son who were neglected. So I left. Am I the a-hole? Sophia, what say you before we get into some
For
comments?
leaving the party. I don't know. I think they're the a-hole, but I do think that like leaving, like did OP's entire family leave or just OP?
I think OP.
Is that what it said?
So I think the husband stayed.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I mean, it's a little tough. Like on the one hand, well, I guess your child's not old enough to, for you to ruin your kid's Christmas or anything by leaving.
It doesn't say if like OP left with the entire like her husband and
Actually,
child.
is the child even born yet?
It said the child is.
Okay, child's born.
I don't know if the child's born yet. No.
Oh yeah, I was so saying. So like you're not ruining a child's, Christmas or anything. So I feel like that's somewhat reasonable, and they're not like they don't seemingly didn't care about you at all for this Christmas.
Seems like a lot of people in the chat are
Yeah.
saying not the a-hole
Yeah,
because
I
they're
don't
just
think you
matching the
made-
energy.
You didn't make like a big scene.
Yeah, I'm just very confused of
Yeah.
like,
I don't know why they did this.
yeah,
though.
why did they? Why? I made a list, and I guess again they were just like, they were being literal. Like you said, you didn't want anything. You said you just wanted stuff for your baby boy, but you barely got anything. I mean, you got a couple things for him, but I don't know. I don't think you're the a-hole for leaving.
Mhm.
As if you left in like a very rude way, but you're like, I'm gonna go home and just like chill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get into the comments. Comment number 1. OP. I think you may want to get a DNA test with your parents. My dad has half siblings and they're treated better, paid for cars and college. And my cousins are treated better than me and my siblings. If you don't want to cause drama, buy a few 23andMe kits and frame it as if you wanted to do something fun for the whole family. You'll get your answer. OP replies, I did. And I didn't like what I found out. It was completely by mistake that I found out. I didn't mean to. My dad isn't my real dad. I was an in vitro baby. I knew this all along. I found out by connecting with my half-siblings, found on the site that our bio dad was a donor. Most of them knew. I didn't. However, I don't think my dad knows. My dad always points to my physical features that we share and personality things we have in common. I don't have it in me to reveal this, so I hold it in. I honestly didn't even think about it until you guys brought it up. But if you scroll through my history, you'll see I found this out a couple of years ago. Comment number 2, info. I really don't understand the bit about the Santa is done for us note. OP responds, it's a note his mother wrote him that basically reads that now that you've graduated and you're an adult, you're responsible for being Santa. When my dad saw, I looked taken aback when they said I would have had nothing from Santa on Christmas morning. He went to his memorabilia box and gave me that note. Sorry for the confusion. There is a reply. That makes things more confusing. So they asked you what you wanted for Christmas and then handed you this old note grandma wrote your dad back when he was considered an adult, saying, sorry, no more gifts for you, even though they asked what you wanted. You specifically, since your husband seems to have gotten stuff. I need more clarity on what is going on here. OP responds, I really don't know what else to say. That's what happened, and it confused me too. He didn't hand me that note until my mom said no more Santa on Christmas morning, and he saw I looked a bit disappointed. They love my husband, especially my mom. Another reply says, but Santa still came for your mom and your 40-year-old brother. Yeah. What the heck? Again, another reply says, yeah, it seems like they're basically punishing OP for becoming a parent, and not even her husband, just OP because she's pregnant. This is so weird. It's like they wanted her to internally be their little baby, and now that she's having one of her own, they can't handle it. Comment number 3, not the a-hole. So they gave everybody else heaps of nice presents, and you hardly anything. That's a bit cruel, especially since you just want stuff for your baby. Was there any discussion over Santa prior? Like, is there any reason why you wouldn't have gotten any presents from Santa? OP says, nope. No discussion, so it was honestly a shock. I paid for the family dinner, I sent roses to my mother this year when she didn't feel well, and I talked with my parents quite a bit. I'm actually really confused, and so are we, but we have an update.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's just find out more, I guess.
Chell Bell says OP needs to confront both parents and stop assuming anything. This annoys me so much. Just ask. Very true, though it does seem like she was asking why she doesn't have gifts, and he was like, no Santa this year.
Yeah, and it's just very confusing.
Yeah. So
I'd be like, so why did hubby get my OP's husband literally got like cool stuff? My oldest brother got literally the entire work shed over there. And I got a rock.
I got a rock.
I got ramen.
Yeah. I got ramen.
That's crazy.
I got an Oculus. I got tools. I got ramen.
I got a ramen. That's crazy.
I got candy. I got new shoes. I got ramen.
Hey, you know what?
It's just that bit going on.
To some people, ramen is their number one thing.
Yeah, I made a lot of homemade ramen.
But
in
there
college
is an update. One of the commenters suggested actually taking a 23andMe test and seeing if it matched my parents. I had done so 2 years ago and posted about it on this account because I was struggling with the revelation that my dad is not my bio dad and how it may have impacted how I grew up. I forgot to consider this until I read this comment. My mom knows. My dad either doesn't or doesn't want me to know. Either way, I'm not going to give my mother the ammo to hurt me by broaching this topic with them. I know that's what she'll do. I know my mother didn't love me as a child because she called me up a couple of years ago and let it slip, saying, I wish I had loved you when you were a child. Not saying, I wish I had loved you more or anything like that. Just point blank, I didn't love you. It's just none of this made itself known during Christmas, ever. I was shocked. I've spoken with both parents, and my dad was beyond apologetic. He said that the note was really something he treasured as a symbol of leading his own house. Okay,
Well,
that should have been okay. This should have been talked about
Yeah.
so much more.
Yeah, it doesn't really read well when Opie just doesn't get gifts anymore and everyone else does.
It's like, hey kid, you're a parent now.
You're a parent now. No gifts for you.
You're the leader of the house.
Because if it was like Opie gets gifts and then he, with the baby stuff, says, you're Santa now, like that would be different. That'd be different. It'd be like, okay, wow, this is lovely. You know, I'm a parent.
Like no more Santa.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry. I feel like that's all. This could be true,
Yeah.
but I feel like that's all BS.
Yeah, that
I
he
feel like-
treasures it.
Yeah, it's like from grandma.
Yeah.
It's like handed it
He's
down.
like, I want generational trauma.
Yeah, what? He said that it was very poorly timed and that he whipped it out to cover the awkwardness. He was blindsided. He works and she's retired. My dad trusts my mom with the shopping. He tried to broach the topic with my mom before I talked to her, and it did not go well. She became incredibly defensive to the point that he had to call me to tell me not to reach out to her until she called me herself. So I waited. She said she did get me another gift, some plates and bowls, and told me they were on the way. I thanked her. Other than that, she didn't acknowledge Christmas had happened or that there were any disparities. She knows that I know that what she did was wrong, and she doesn't want to talk about it. Yes, I spoke with my husband. I laid it all out for him, and when he understood that this was much more than about a woman not getting enough gifts, he backed off his a-hole judgment. My husband admitted that he doesn't know what any of this is like, but that he's proud of how I handled myself given the circumstances, and he will continue to support me. And by the way, I'm going to ask you to support us by listening to full episodes with stories just like this one. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcast, or your favorite podcast app and search what, Sophia?
Okay, story time.
There's a little bit left to the story. So,
So,
how do we feel?
feeling better. 'Cause clearly the mom is the issue here. I don't know why she's acting like this. But I think keep going through your dad. Maybe give her some time to cool off, and hopefully we can, she can come around. But for now, doesn't seem like it's,
Yeah, not your best Christmas, OP.
No.
But that's okay. You're going to have a baby soon, and you're going to be Santa.
And hopefully your dad learns.
Santa.
Yeah. Hopefully your dad learns that he should participate in the gift giving.
Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like you need to have a full-on conversation with
Mhm.
that. Maybe you did or didn't, but I'd have been like, that sucked.
Yeah.
That wasn't cool.
That was not cool.
But let's go ahead and finish up the story. My husband said we also have a couple of options. We can cut off my entire side of the family altogether, but that it wouldn't be possible to just cut out my mom. I'm not ready to cut ties with my dad. So we went with option 2. We set up some ground rules. We will under no circumstances give them any unsupervised time with the baby. We will not go to visit them. We will not let them stay in our house. I will not call my mom. I will answer, but be short and sweet when I talk. Even if she does decide to acknowledge the past and truly apologize, I will forgive her, but I won't forget. They will have a very insignificant role in my son's life. I don't know. I get the ground rules, but I think we're a little heightened here. I think we need to take
Yeah.
a step back and maybe just have a conversation with mom.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I know the dad said wait until she cools down, which I think you can still do, but I think you can at one point have a conversation with her. Because I feel like, let's see why she did it.
Yeah.